Hey guys, I'm Maro Mancilla, and this video is going to be about the Module 2 of TKT, which includes the units 19 to 26. So the unit 19 it's about planning a lesson or a sequence of lessons and selecting the best aims. They describe what we want the learners to learn at the end of a class. So to identify the most appropriate aims, we need to ask ourselves what the learners already know and what they need to know at the end of the lesson. Three types of aims are the main aim, that is the most important thing we want the learners to achieve, the subsidiary aims, that are the skills that the learners require to achieve the main aim, and the personal aims, that it's about we would like to improve as a teacher. So the first steps for planning a lesson is first select the aims, then design the activities and order them, and finally choose the best aids and materials. One tip I want to give you is that you announce the main aim at the beginning or end of a lesson for the learners to know what they are going to learn. So let's continue with Unit 20 about the components of a lesson plan. These are a set of notes that help us for teaching and guide us. Main components are the aims that show us what the lesson is for, and the procedures, that is what the teacher and learners will do during the lesson. As it helps us the lesson plan before is to make sure that we have planned a clear sequence for achieve aims. During is to check the lesson is following the sequence, and after to plan the next lesson. For planning a lesson, we ask ourselves a several number of questions that are these ones. So if you check these questions, I'm pretty sure that your lesson will be great. Unit 21s are the individual or sequence of lessons. When we plan these lessons, we think about the aims, how to achieve them, the procedures, and the techniques we use. But what you have to be sure is about the material and aids that you are going to use. The difference with sequence is that focus more on the development of the language knowledge and the skills. So 5 questions that are going to help you to plan it. What's my overall aim? What are the learning outcomes? Are the activities and materials correct according to the level? Have I planned enough for the time available? And there should be any aspects that should be personal aims? As a conclusion, I would like to add that the variety and creativity in these types of lessons are very important to keep the learners interested and involved. Next on the list is Unit 22. If you want to be informed about the performance of your learners, the assessment is a great idea. There are 2 types of assessments. The first one is the formal assessments, that the purpose of these ones are to decide if learners can continue to the next level, and the informal ones that are for giving a feedback for the learners and the teacher about what they need to work. On your test, you have to use single focus activities like multiple choice or true or false that are for assessing their receptive skills, and also the extended activities like summary or an interview for assess productive skills. Finally, let's talk about the portfolio, like an informal assessment. It contains all the students' work during a certain time, and it has many advantages like are easy to integrate, are informative, include a whole range of learners' work, and can also be reflective if the students auto-evaluate the work. Now, how do we consult the reference sources is the Unit 23, and it's pretty easy to understand, so let's check it out. So the reference sources are the resources of information that you can check for language and teaching and can help you to prepare your class. They include reference and supplementary materials and websites on internet. If you're looking for the use of grammatical structures, the course book is an excellent material because it provides you different ways for teaching. For the lexical items and spelling, it's a good idea to use the dictionaries. The bilingual dictionary for look for a word that learners don't understand in English, monolingual dictionaries to the meaning of the word. So the last thing you can do is to get advice from colleagues or persons that have the same level and have used the teaching materials. Continuing with Unit 24, that is the selection and use of course book materials. These are the materials that you can use in the classroom for the learners to practice the language. You can do a need analysis about the materials to select the best ones and see what the learners need to learn. Also, you need to ask yourself these questions. This series of questions help you to see what material can you use and how to use the course book. So some ideas to adapt your materials can be extending material where you write extra items for more practice, shortening the material to make summaries about the lesson, change the methodology if you don't feel it's useful, change the level of material to make it more challenging, reordering material to learn in a different order, and use all the resources of the book. So remember to have variety in your materials to keep the class interesting and attractive. Penultimate Unit 25 is the supplementary materials and activities are additional books that we can use if you feel that the class is not complete or if something is missing. But also you can use it for extra practice. So some tips I want to give you is that it's useful to use authentic material to work with more challenging tasks. You can adapt many supplementary materials for use with classes with different levels and include games for making the learning more fun. Last one, we're about to finish, and it's with Unit 26 that is about the use of teaching aids. These are, for example, the whiteboard, the DVD player, the computers, the projectors, and realia. Realia are real objects that you can bring to the classroom for teaching a new vocabulary or term. Some of the purpose of some teaching materials, for example, the board is for writing new vocabulary and grammar examples. The projector is for displaying prepared exercise. The CD player is to listening and practice. The DVD player is for also listening and practice, but with visual aids, and the computer is for the grammar exercises. The realia, the flashcards, the prompt cards, the puppets, and the charts are also teaching aids, but this can be useful with the younger learners to make it fun. I'm going to give you some key concepts that are very important, so listen carefully. The first one is that the aid you prepare in advance, like the flashcard or charts, will help you to make sure that the procedures match with your aims, and never forget to check any equipment before your class to be prepared if something fails. So that will be all from me. I hope you had liked the video, and bye.